What's up, YouTube? Today, Gridbot Guru here. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about what's called leverage trading. Okay. Now, there are two things here that I want everybody to understand. Um, there are leverage tokens and there is leverage trading. Okay. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the leverage trading. Okay. Not the tokens. At some point, there's a good chance that I will come back around and talk about the tokens. But right now, we are going to talk about leverage trading and what that looks like. Okay. All right. So, first thing that we're going to do is if we click on something and we're like, you know what? I want to trade a token, a leverage token. We got to figure out what exactly it is first. So what you guys need to do to know what a leverage token is, you will notice that on the app, I think it is specific. I don't think, yeah. So these are going to be the leverage tokens. You are going to, today, we're going to talk a little bit about just using leverage, so not the leverage tokens. So if you go through and you see a 3x or 5x. I think 3x and 5x are the ones that down here, LTC USDT, that's a 3x. Those are going to be tokens that you can use leverage with. And what that looks like is if you click on trade and you go to leverage, either leverage grid or leveraged reverse grid, and that'll be completely different. We're going to talk just about a leverage grid today. You can click create. It's going to need you to end up passing a quiz. Okay, so I want you guys to make sure that you have passed the quiz first. Okay, it's got a little tutorial here, it goes down through, and I want you guys to make sure that you pass the quiz first. I have understood the risks, and you're going to start answering. Okay, so let me go ahead and get that knocked out of the way first. Okay, so I went ahead and took the quiz. And I'm going to talk you through what a leverage grid looks like. So again, what I want you guys to do is we're not talking leverage tokens, we're talking about using leverage. So create. These are all of the pairs that you can use. Okay, so you can do BTC, ETH, XRP, Link, BCH, LTC, DOT, and Theta. You can adjust what you actually want to use. So the highest that you can go is times five times. But you can also say, I'm going to click on that. You can also adjust it right here. So the lowest that you can go is 1.2. Now, here is where things get interesting. We're going to go and we're going to say, okay, I'm going to look at BTC on the daily, and I'm going to actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get something that looks reasonable, like it's going to be an upward swing. All right, so right here, maybe BTC on the 1 hour. Let's look at what 15 looks like. Probably not. So we're going to pretend like I'm going to enter on this. I will not enter on this, but we're going to pretend. I don't advise you to do this either. So you're down, you're like, oh, hey, it's come to a little spot, may have some support and resistance here. It looks, my MACD looks like it's possibly going to start turning. I'm going to use a grid, a leverage grid. You're going to create. You're going to do exactly what you have done before. So you're going to say my low price is going to be, we're going to say my low price is going to be 57, we'll say. So 57. And my high price is going to be, we'll say 60. And I'm going to have, we'll say 25 grids. Now, my profit per grid is going to be 0.1% through 0.11%. Okay, here's what using a leverage grid means. You are borrowing funds, whether it is a token, whether it is money, you are borrowing. Okay. Now, over here it says my investment needs to be 177.15 USDT. Okay, so right here, and then USDT. So that is telling you how much you right now. I only have 976. I own, sorry, not 976, $9.76. That's my total. I own $8.14, and I can borrow right now 1.62. Now, what does that mean? That means that somewhere out there, I am going to get a loan for some USDT. Now, I can increase my leverage. So I can go, this is 1.2 times. I can go 2 times. I can go 4, 5 times. I can do up to 5 times. Right? So right now, it says I have right now 40.7 USDT. So that means I can own 8.14 and I can borrow 32.56. Now, this is not actually going to end up, yeah. Okay, yeah, it will. Perfect. All right. So your slider here doesn't have any selected, so it's not giving me my information. The borrowable funds down here at the bottom. That is how much I can borrow at this moment. It's my understanding that that is a live updated thing. So there is only a certain amount of cash out there to borrow. So I can borrow $221 USDT. And then if somebody else tries, it's going to say zero point 0.8 USDT available. Okay. Now here's the other side of it. I can close that position. That zero point 0.8 USDT will then change to 221. So right now, as we are watching here in a few minutes, it could jump up to 3, 4,000 because people start closing their positions, or it can drop down to 20. Um, there was at one point, let me see what dot looks like, or theta. I don't know if they, I don't know if they end up having it. Oh, I'd have to search for it up here. Let's see. Can I get it? Um, dot. Try dot. We'll see what it says. Yeah. So right now, so we were talking as we're talking. Now there is only 0.14 USDT available to borrow. 0.14, 14 cents is in this group. Okay. So again, there is going to be different areas. So we're gonna go back to Bitcoin though. That way you guys can see kind of what I'm talking about. I'm gonna go click on trade, try leverage. All right. So again, 0.1414 cents. That's all I can borrow. So I cannot open up a leverage trade right now. Now, we're going to say that we're going to pretend like there's like $3,000 in there. And I'm like, yes, it is going up. I'm going to take my investment and, oh, look, it just jumped up to 352. So somebody just closed a position, or they got liquidated, which I'll talk about that here in a bit. And it freed up some money. It freed up some coins that we can borrow. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, you know what? I want to borrow. I'm gonna do 500. Okay. Now I can't do that because I don't have enough funds in my actual account. However, if I were to do that on that money that I am borrowing, I am going to have a 0.07% daily interest. Okay, so my daily interest will be 0.07% on those borrowed funds. Okay. Now again, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to, and I'm gonna say 57,000. Okay, and I also want to give you guys, I think it was 60,000, 60 or 61, either way. And I think I did 25 grids. Now, here's the estimated liquidation price. And you may say, well, what does that mean exactly? That means 1,000 or 10,614 is going to be my liquidation price. And what that means is that means that if this token, this coin, this pair drops to 10,614, I will lose that trade. What that means is that means that if I've put 20 bucks into it, I'm going to lose that $20. That's the Pionex will take that. They will close that position because you have lost your initial investment and you are then using borrowed funds, and they will not let you use the borrowed funds if your initial funds are already gone. Kind of to think of it like this. If somebody, if you're trying to open an account or open a trade and you borrow $100 from somebody and your trade goes $100 to the red, they're going to go ahead and close that so that you can repay that individual back. Okay. So those people who are borrowing the money, they're never going to lose their money. You might, but they're not going to. Now, the reason why I'm wanting to bring this up is because most of the time when people first start out, they say, "Oh boy, I could end up doing 5 times and I could end up making some bank." You are correct, 100%. You are correct. However, as you start changing these things, okay, if you do 5 times, look at your new liquidation price, 50.955. So 50.95. Let's look at a day. 50.95. That's right here. Right around in here. Okay. Now, that's a long drop to try to ride this out. That is a long drop. So that means from 58 all the way down, you're going to be looking at getting possibly some negative there. And the other side of it is you have to remember that 0.07%. That is a daily interest. So that's going to be chewing your profits every single day. Again, the loaners, people who are loaning you money, they're going to get their money back at the end of the day. They're also going to get that interest back at the end of the day, right? So I want everyone to make sure that they're understanding that when you are using a leverage token, there is more risk involved. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this, okay? We're going to do We'll do XRP. Everybody's like, ooh, XRP. If you'd have gotten in a couple days ago, it'd have been fantastic. But we're going to trade the XRP. We're going to pretend. We're going to do some leverage. Okay, so I can do, I can say, oh, my low price will be, we'll say 0.4, 0.4. And my high price will be, we'll do a high price of 1.20. Okay, so that's 80 grid. That's like, we'll do it like that. So 1.2%, okay, if I end up going in, it would drop all the way at 1.2%, it would have to drop all the way to 0.14108 for it to be liquid, for the liquidation price to hit. XRP, you can only go up to 3 times, but if you do, look at there. You could say, okay, I know it's going to go up, but look at where it's at now. 58, that's down in here. That's around in here. And that's a good solid spot where XRP was. So XRP was there. There is a very good chance that something could happen and it crashed back down. Just as I've said with every other pair, you don't really know what is going to end up happening. Okay. Now, I'm hoping that that helps you understand about a leverage grid. It does work the same way as a standard grid. However, you are borrowing funds and you are paying interest on those borrowed funds daily. There is also a liquidation price. So make sure you are checking the liquidation price as well. At the liquidation price, your trade will be closed. If it hits, it will be. And there's nothing that feels worse to have a good solid trade and then waking up and realizing that as it was buying the dip, well, it kept dipping. And, if I enter right now and I bought all the way down and it kept dipping down to 55 and then shot back up, all that they close it. There's not really a warning. I think there is a little bit of a warning that says, hey, you're getting close to your liquidation price. But you have to really be careful. I can't stress how much risk there is and how careful you have to be. If you have time, you can do well with it because you are borrowing funds and all you have to pay back is those funds. So right now, if I were to borrow, well, this is a bad example. If I had $100 in there and I borrowed another 200, I can use that 200 to play with. So if I would have borrowed 100 or 200 when it was about 50, I went to sleep, I got up and it's at, $1.10 and I closed my account, I only have to pay back that $200. All the other profits that I've made, those are mine to keep. But again, you have to pay back what you have borrowed. You will also have interest every single day. Okay. All right, guys. So that is my video today. That's my tips and tricks for leveraged grid, just using leverage for a trade. Okay. Again, this is not a leverage token. This is just using leverage. I hope this helps out. If you have not already, subscribe. Please subscribe. Hit the bell. That way you understand or you hear whenever I have another video loaded up. If you have friends, share my videos. Get it out there. That way, the more people who are using Pionex, the better. That way we can continue doing the things we're doing that are great. I hope everybody has a great day trading, and I hope everybody stays green. I'll see you again soon.